Hey. Fucking. Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, it was dope, dude. Who was it?
They're called Everyone You Know.
All right. Man, that was pretty good.
How's that for a fucking band name, man?
Everyone you know.
Everyone You Know. Yeah, it was easier to look up than I thought.
Yeah, quotation marks.
Oh my god, dude! One of my favorite bands is The. You ever have to search for them?
Well, you literally can't find, what is it? You pronounce it because it's three
tick,
exclamation
tick, tick.
points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another one that's a fucking bitch. You're like doing bang, bang, bang. What is it? I don't know. Hey, Jax is in the house. So, Jax,
What's up?
I sent you a couple songs from last week to see if I had maybe found your taste, and you have to let me know. You can do a thumbs up, or a thumbs down, or a frowny face, or you can just be silent, and then I won't feel bad. But how did I do? See, I think I sent Caroline Rose. We don't know. We have no. Oh, I gotta turn off my thing.
I think this is. Yeah, you had this one.
Dudes, I was cleaning off the hard drive and going through stuff, and I found what we were doing a year ago, and oh dear Lord, have we come a long way.
Yep.
I mean, I didn't remember this, but in November of last year, we didn't do 3 rounds at a post with the most. We just did like 1 each. And then if somebody couldn't go, they'd jump in and do one. And it was it wasn't
pretty chaotic.
Yeah, it was very chaotic. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things where the show kind of, like, the more we did it, the more we realized what it needed.
Right.
That was kind of, it just happened pretty organically that way.
Well, yeah. I know it feels like it's organic and it feels like we're not doing anything, but the crazy thing is that, we actually have polished it up and tightened it up. So
yeah,
anyway,
and you're doing a ton with the emails and the graphics and shit. It looks fantastic.
Oh, thanks, brother. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, too, our YouTube channel, like over its lifetime, which is really only about 90 days, has like 250 plays on it or something.
Dang.
We got 101 subscribers.
Nice.
We've got, hey, Beverly, how you doing?
Hey, everyone.
Hey, so, all right,
Welcome.
So I want to let everybody know I've been putting a little bit more work into the YouTube channel. So now if you go to Facebook for the Blind, FB4tB on YouTube, all the playlists are there. Maybe not all of them, but I've tried to put all the music that I play in the show on those lists. And that's pretty much for you, Beverly. That's
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Nice. So the playlists are on the channel page. Yeah, it's good times. So I ended up with way too much news today. I have so much crap. And by the way, too, I've looked at the YouTube statistics. Like, I have to do the news in like 3 minutes. I hold their attention for 3 minutes, and then they bail. It's actually enough time for like 3 jokes, and that's it. But man, I can't do that. So I'm gonna just try and blow it out here. Hey, 7:35. That's like early for us. We ready to rock and roll?
Yeah.
Woo!
I was ready 5 minutes ago.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the week we like to celebrate Facebook for the Blind, a show for the visually and Facebook impaired. I am your humble host, Eric Sizemore. How are you? Good. Let's get to the news. Today was a pretty substantial day. Apparently some enormous bill got passed in the government, which is so rare that we celebrated it. And even though none of us can tell what was in it, we all know exactly what the price tag was. Because that's how the news works, doesn't it? Yes. Mm-hmm. The price tag was $1 trillion something, which I thought was pretty amusing because the news never gives anybody any context on that. So just for fun, I may throw in a few bits of context for the heck of it. Oh man. Okay, so Yeah. Yeah, just a fun thing here. This is a pie chart of the budget. This is the discretionary budget. This is the whole government price tag. And you know what it costs? 1.5 trillion. Bet you never heard that before. But it's also 1 trillion. Isn't that neat? It's 1 trillion. But nobody ever talks about the budget and what we spend it on. See if you can figure out in this pie graph what we spend the very most money on. Does it jump out at you?
Stumped.
I know. Well, that 50% part that's in blue that says military, 765 billion. Now they did something clever here because right next to it is this orange veterans benefits, which some might say is also part of the military, is actually part of the war budget. So I'm just going to lump that in there. So we're up to about 58%.
Yeah, by some, I hope you're including me, who receives some of that money every month.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it's the fucking cost of war. Keep going.
Yeah, so it looks like 50% of the budget. And then, but one thing that they also don't mention to you, because they were hiding the veterans over here and pretending they weren't part of the Defense Department, over here in energy and environment, doesn't that sound nice? Energy and environment. You're picturing like windmills and amber waves of grain. No, that's where they hide the nukes. That's where the nukes are. The nukes are over here. So you can take the nukes, and that's 4%, and the veterans, and that's 8%. So we're up to about 62% of the budget is war. And this is 1.5 trillion, but we just never talk about that at all. Now, one of the reasons is because this pie graph, although it's, you know, a nice illustration that way, really doesn't make it clear. So I'm just going to do it this way. Here it is as a bar chart. We have national defense over here, and then everything else. I tell you, for those of you who can't see, it really does look like national defense at 50% is like a big middle finger, and then there's a little bumps of all the other fingers in the whole government going on there. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. Today was interesting. Steve Bannon surrendered himself to his indictment, and here he is, very close to Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I'm hoping that she ends up indicted too. And this is my way of doing voodoo on my show.
Yeah.
So I got that. I did find out some more stuff about that I wanted to share. No, I don't seem to have the images, but it's okay. So I looked into it. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Now, of course, even though he surrendered himself, Ron Filipowski posts here from at McFarland News, the Department of Justice did not request pretrial detention, so he's released on his own recognizance there. He did, though, complain about his handcuffs. So we can all like take some solace in the fact that they did handcuff him while he awaited his pretrial conference on a misdemeanor. And what I found myself wondering was, I wonder if he was properly handcuffed, because when you're properly handcuffed, one side is between those wrist knuckle bones, so it won't move. And they clamp it down real hard, so it hurts a little bit. And you remember that you're a jerk. And I'm wondering if they properly cuffed him. So that was
when I got handcuffed, I didn't remember that I was a jerk. I remembered that I didn't pay those police officers in Mexico nearly enough money.
Right, that happens. Totally see that. One of my favorite things about the Facebooks is it brings up news from the past. So I thought I'd dump some news from the past. 3 years ago, we were talking about how the wars that we were in, remember those forever wars we were in Iraq and Afghanistan, that were going to cost $6 trillion. There's another big
I would do
word.
anything to forget.
I know. They don't seem to bring that one up. You'd think it'd be a real handy, you know, little mnemonic, little context here. Look, I even posted like GDP was about $20 trillion in 2017. You know, it was a helpful, handy thing of like what $6 trillion means. It's like comparable to 20 trillion for the whole freaking economy for a year. So anyway, it was a thing from the past. Also 3 years ago, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in the news much more often, and she was being, you know, pilloried over there on Fox News along with the squad, because these radical Democrat ideas for free college for all, free healthcare for all, abolishing ICE and Green New Deal. And AOC's like, oh no, they discovered our vast conspiracy to take care of children and save the planet.
Yeah.
Still there. We're still there. Hey, in good news, the minimum wage is going to be $17.64 in West Hollywood, the highest minimum wage in the country. $17.64, and that's like, one of the first reasons I've seen to actually move to West Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. And I try to always close these things. I'm going to dump the rest of our terrible news. I try to close these things with a fun animal thing, and I do have a couple cool fun animal things. Might queue up one later. But for now, this week I learned about this crazy law of nature, and dig this. Each order of magnitude of animal in the ocean, when you lay it out on a logarithmic scale, each one of them contains a gigaton of biomass. So, like, if you go to a point on the planet, and they surveyed like 30,000 points around the planet for like 100 some years of data, and you like looked at what life was there, you find that there's like tons and tons of micro stuff, tons and tons of autotrophs, zooplankton, and then fewer fish, fewer mammals, all the way up to whales. But if you weigh out the populations, they all weigh about 1 gigaton spread out, and it was arranged logarithmically. And I just thought this was
Cool.
absolutely an amazing image and illustration. And look at the math up there in the corner. That formula's got like, 5-6 characters in it, one scientific notation. It's practically comprehensible. And that oh, well, I gotta do one last thing here just because it's dumb. It's not funny. But that Steele dossier is getting torn up, and I'm watching the media bend all over itself on this one. It's really funny because Axios is reporting on this because they didn't actually cover anything about the Steele dossier. But they're talking about, well, the Post said every single word in that thing was true. And this guy over here said it was true before it even came out. And these people said all this stuff, and are they doing retractions? And most of them are not commenting. Most of the news sources are not commenting. Some of them are doing a little bit of work on it. But the number one answer is, even though all of this is wrong, there's still a whole bunch of stuff that's right. So we're still accurate and awesome. Even though,
and nobody presented. I wanted them to present the Steele dossier as fact, and nobody was.
Yeah,
like
really
everybody was saying, like, a lot of this information is unconfirmed, but here's what's being said.
Yeah.
And the whole question was, should it be investigated?
Right.
The question was never, is this 100% accurate? I mean, it's just Republicans will just do fucking anything to not look like the fascist fucking pigs they are.
Yeah.
Yep.
And actually, I should report too that the FBI has announced that death threats to people in Congress are at an all-time high. They've got over 800 recorded incidents this year, which is apparently a lot. And it's primarily because people like Marjorie Taylor Greene printed the phone numbers of all the Republicans who voted for the infrastructure bill. And I mean, that's exactly how you're going to get death threats. It's absolutely ridiculous. One last quick blurb here that I forgot about.
Right.
Austria has gone on lockdown only for the unvaccinated, which I find to be a very smart idea. Other parts of Europe are doing that as well, Berlin and some other things. And I was just like, hey, what a fascinating idea. Oh, if you don't get vaccinated, you stay off the streets. Like the rest of us can go out because we're vaccinated and everything goes back to normal. You stay home.
Yeah.
And yeah, so there we go. So that was the worst news, and so not 3 minutes and not funny.
Yeah.
That's a little more than 3
Well
minutes.
done.
But I do think it's, I don't know, Marjorie Taylor Greene's name is kind of funny.
It's true.
Yeah.
I had an uncle named Green. His first name
No.
Green. It's Green.
Huh.
What's the shower there, Eric?
Oh, well, George, you queued up? You raring to go?
Good question.
Okay,
Let's
then it's Michael, then George.
Michael first. Here I go. Guys, listen,
Michael,
I have
George,
a ton of memes. I don't even know how many memes I have to get through here. So we're just gonna jump.
Okay.
This is an actual poster
God.
from an actual movie called Killer Sofa. But it's a picture of a recliner with eyes and a mouth and fangs. And I just love the fact that it's not a sofa. Like, you know this movie's gonna be dog shit. Like,
It's a killer lazy boy, you're
even-
right.
They didn't even pay attention to that. This is from Joke Czar, who I've been enjoying. And this is I don't know who this person is, but I think they're from the newest Star Wars animated, like, Clone Wars take. Male bees die after mating. That's their whole life. honey, nut, Cheerio.
Uh-huh.
That's so stupid. And this says this is a picture of Camus, and at the top it says, "People reads cherry-picked philosophy from the internet," and then people say, "I want to die. Life is meaningless anyway. That's the burden of knowing philosophy. Anything else is simply stupid and naive after just reading some cherry-picked philosophy." Actual philosophers, and it's Camus looking pretty incredulous, and he says, "Listen here, you little shit." And I love that the philosopher's shirt, that their only comment is "Spank me, daddy." This is from the Hard Times. They're reporting that Tucker Carlson recites Nazi punks fuck off as early example of cancel culture. For those of you who don't know, the Dead Kennedys fucking classic Nazi punks fuck off, like they're your evening set. Yeah, check that out. And here is one of those myth facts. This is a myth buster. It has a picture of a man whose mouth is on someone's leg, and it says, "Myth, you can suck the poison from a snake bite. That's a myth. Fact, you can suck my dick." This is from Sarah Michelson. Says, "Hey, sorry I was weird last night. I don't know what's wrong with me, and I never have, and I never will."
Yep.
I felt that one in my soul.
Mm-hmm.
Big Snack says, "More like zero toning, am I right? LOL." That's one that works better if you're reading it, because it's spelled almost exactly like serotonin, but it's serotonin. Here's a picture of a man just holding his hand out, and it says, "Feel dead inside? Then go outside."
So wise.
Cole at Cole Vec says, "People with dogs. He likes everybody. So if he doesn't like you, there's something wrong with you. People with cats. I wouldn't get too close to him or make any sort of eye contact. He literally killed my mother. His name is Mr. Muffins." Here's another one from the philosopher's shirt at Wild Thing. He says, "I'm experimenting with how many apples I need to eat a day to keep everyone away, whatever their profession." This is I didn't know if this was going to come up in the news or not, but 9 people were killed at a Travis Scott concert. And I don't know if you guys watched the videos of this, but that motherfucker is sitting there watching them lift corpses out of his show, and he just keeps singing. It is fucking gross. Like, at first I was like, these things, I remember when the whole thing happened with Heavy D, like, these things sort of happen sometimes. No, this was absolutely egregious. It was fucked. This is 2 panels, and it's Tom and Jerry shaking hands. And then the second panel is just a close-up of Jerry smiling and them shaking hands. And it says, of their hands shaking is what the second panel is. And so Tom is labeled in the first one, musicians on Titanic, and Jerry is labeled Travis Scott. And then their hands shaking, where they come together, is continuing to perform while their audience dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another one from the philosopher's shirt. I was all over them. They're quoting The Law Boy, and it says, "Plato returns from the dead." Plato. "So who's that girl? Are you two together?" Me. "Nah, it's purely platonic." Plato. "Oh, what does platonic mean?" Me. "It means we don't have sex." Plato. "What the fuck?" This is an actual sign, and it says junior jazz dance classes, and they made these like really stylized figures dancing. One is not wearing a dress and one is wearing a dress. Their heads are perfectly round, and their arms are like look like crescent moons, because they're both, making lines up. Except when you don't really focus on it, it absolutely looks like a very voluptuous woman. Like the negative space of this just looks like a naked woman.
Yep.
I don't know. When I look at things like this, I just think some people are just they're just not thinking about sex as much as me. Like, that has to be the answer, right? Like, how the fuck do you look at this and not see the naked female form?
It's dual.
I think I'll probably I'll probably end on this one because it's a cheerful note. This is from at Blacksmith with no vowels. And it's a man standing next to a wall where they superimposed bubble letters next to him. And it says, "Last year I was depressed. This year I am even more depressed. and that's called growth. The quote is attributed to Justin Farrington.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm feeling that
We're
one.
growing, boys. We're growing.
I am behind that one. Hey, shout out to Ruben and Ruben's cat. What's up? Good to see you.
What's up, Ruben?
Yeah.
All right, man. And now into the round that we ostensibly call wholesome for.
What?
Oh, no, it's George. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not wholesome at all.
Not wholesome at all. Strike that from the record.
There's a screen cap from I Think You Should Leave. It's a comedy show on Netflix, and it's labeled "When People Ask Red Hot Chili Peppers Why They Keep Making Songs About California," and the guy on screen is saying, "With all due respect, it worked 150 times." Here we go. We got Comrade Horse says, contrary to your human intuition, wage increases do not cause inflation. Evidence shows it never has, it never will. And there's a horse wearing a little Russian hat, and in the background, it's a 90s style. It looks like the floor at a laser tag place.
It looks like Saved by the Bell, like the opening to Saved by the Bell.
It does. It really does. Yeah. It's a bunch of lightning bolts and neon geometric stuff. This is at Burger King UK. It says fuck French, but they asterisked out the E, and then people in quotation marks with a bunch of vomiting right next to it. And then underneath it says, what, do you really think this shit is out of context? There's only hell for the baguette fuckers. Delete that tweeto. Please shut the fuck up. And that's a great. There's edited tweets are getting harder and harder to distinguish from the real social media tweets that some of these companies put out, and it's pretty ridiculous. But that one is definitely fake. This one is it looks like a young adult horror novel from the 90s. It's some kind of ghosts coming out of a high-rise building there. And it says, want to come over and smoke resin in my shitty fucking apartment? There's only one light on in the apartment building.
I hate that I've been to that house.
Yeah, I think that's a Fright Night movie.
I've been that house.
Nice.
This one is just a picture of some mozzarella pearls, and it says, does anyone know what to do with the lumps left over after you drank all the mozzarella?
Oh.
They come with all that nice juice, but I mean, what do you do with the other stuff? You know?
I use the juice on my pizza.
Yeah, this is a fun one for D&D players if you like that. Is you found a raw chicken and you're just gonna put it in your bag. Get salmonella all up in there. Okay. You found a mug of ale and you also just put that in your bag. An open mug. Well, maybe the alcohol can help disinfect everything that touched the chicken. You found an unidentifiable mass of goo. Is it toxic? Is it alive? Who knows? All we know for sure is that you're still going to put it in your bag. At Allsward's Corner. Apparently a comic creator.
Nice.
This one's fun. This is from at Fuck the Moon with zeros instead of O's. And it says, fly me to the moon, let me kick its fucking ass. Let me show it what I learned in my moon jujitsu class. And that one has a bunch of likes, and there's a response to it from the same person that says, wow, this blew up. Wish the moon would. Let's see. I think I got one or two more here. Give me just a second. And here, we're gonna do this one. This is from Chainsaw Suit, which is a great comic. It's I've read the rhetoric from both, or I've heard the rhetoric from both sides. Time to do my own research on the real truth. He's sitting down at a computer, and it's a Google link, and it says literally the first link that agrees with what you already believe. Completely supports your viewpoint without challenging it in any way. And the third panel is him saying jackpot with sunglasses on. And pretty much everyone does that.
Yes.
I do.
Absolutely. All right, am I up?
Yeah.
You're up.
All right, sweet. So this one was shared by a friend of the show, Michael Matthews, and all I could say was, my eyes, because it is just a green, scene, just a rowboat on the thing, but it just says, wherever you go, there you're. And every one of those words is wrong.
Yeah.
Where is the wrong where? Ever is probably wrong in some way. There is the wrong there. And it's not you are, it's your. This one got tremendous engagement. I have OCD librarian friends who were just like, why would you do this to me? I can't edit it. All right, moving on. This is captioned, I really need to live healthier than me at 2 a.m. And it's a raccoon with one of those Little Debbie Christmas tree snack cakes. Just hauling ass. I resonated with this. All right. This one was one of those 2 years ago memories. I really liked it. It's from one of the librarian pages. It says, teen patron runs up to me. Where's the nerd section? Me. You're going to have to be more specific. We're in a library. Anything's a nerd section. I try. For the wholesome round, I particularly like this little wholesome thought. Matt Broniger at Broniger says, you can talk about how unrealistic superhero movies are, but nothing in them holds a candle to the small towns and Hallmark Christmas specials. He said in quotes here, we all live here in really nice houses, have gorgeous clothes, and meet in the town square every evening. Me? I own a modest bookshop. Kate makes pies, and old Dennis sells antiques. What's meth?
Yeah.
I love those movies. Friend of the show, Craig Smith, reposted this from my buddy Jeremy Farron. Says, when you think about how huge the Earth is and how the Earth is just a tiny ball orbiting the sun, which in turn is a minuscule speck in the universe, it's pretty easy to rationalize eating an entire pie.
Yeah.
For breakfast. That's what I'm saying. This is some bottles in the grocery store. We have a bottle of green curry, bottle of red curry, and someone has put up their phone right next to it with a picture of Tim Curry.
Nice.
Yes.
This next one's a 4-panel, and I posted this one in Facebook for the Blind Weekly Memecast. That is our Facebook page, and whenever we have good stuff, if you like it, tell us in the chat. We will post it in there, and then you can share it with your friends. This is from Victor_Revmir. He says, my friend just showed me this scene from a German film last year, and now I need to see the full film. We have 4 panels, and in it there's a kangaroo talking to a man. And the kangaroo says, I'm a communist, and why are you? He says, I'm an anarchist. Cool, we can be friends until the revolution. After that, it gets difficult. And that was posted in Center for American Progressives Correcting the Record with Guillotines. And if you're not following them, you're missing out.
Yeah. That is, I've been telling people all week, that's Kangaroo Jack. All right.
Kangaroo
you guys
Jack?
missed a lot of the really radical subtext in that film, and you need to go back. Kangaroo Jack.
You say go back so confidently.
You need to go back to Kangaroo Jack.
Now I'm craving Outback Steakhouse. Okay, moving on. This one is posted. This one is posted in Librarian Think Tank, which is hashtag ALATT. And by the way, look at this. This is how nerdy.
It's upside down.
because they figured out how to do it, and that's what librarians do. We would letter everything upside down if we could figure out how to do it.
Nice.
Tammy Cooper has posted this shot of a library shelf, and we have a couple different headings here over the books. And Ian Lanking has said, when your local library starts subtly sowing the seeds of anarchy. And on the one side it says, why not try, ellipsis, question mark. And then on the next side it says, crime.
Nice.
Why not?
Subtly sowing the seeds of anarchy. I think that would be a great band name. Next up, I don't know, Richard Scarry was just very popular. A lot of people were posting Richard Scarry stuff, and somebody had made this their photo, and I just really liked it. It's just a crop of a page of Richard Scarry of a woman in a burning house. The firemen are there because there's water spraying on it, but it just says, beautiful screaming lady. And okay, Richard Scarry's characters are all animals. It's a cat, poking her little paws out the window, smoke curling up behind her, but, beautiful screaming lady. Just don't see those three words together, and it was poetry to my eyes. Got 3 or 4 more here. This one, this is posted by The Credible Hulk, one of my favorites lately. We've got a picture of Sir Isaac Newton saying time is absolute, and then Einstein saying time is relative, and then Karl Marx saying time was invented by clock companies to sell more clocks. And The Credible Hulk has captioned it, beware of big clock. And I gotta tell you, it was really weird because this popped up the day after I said on stage, big daylight, the lobbying. And I was like, there's no millions of dollars in DC lobbying for big daylight. And yet, we still have daylight savings, which is something stupid. So big daylight. Okay, so this next bit is kind of interesting. My man Jim Katowski just posted an ordinary cartoon that could have happened anytime in the last 150 years. It's just his caption, Secret Santa. Secret has an S as a $sign. And we see one person who is apparently supposed to be Congress, and he is handing a packaged gift to another man who is supposed to be Wall Street, and the gift is labeled deregulation, which, again, pretty much any time in the last 150 years. But host of the podcast Pod Save America, Dan Pfeiffer, reposted from Matthew Iglesias, who said, what are the main ideas congressional Republicans have put on the table for reducing inflation? And Dan responds, ensuring that near trillion-dollar corporations can continue to pay $0 in federal taxes. That's their main idea for reducing.
Yeah, we should plug these 2 podcasts, friends of the show. Matthew Iglesias with Weeds, and Dan Pfeiffer with Crooked Media, and all the Pod Save the World, Pod Save America, all that shit. Great guys.
I have definitely given them some listens, indeed. I really like the responses on this too, because and this is my last. I guess I got to close with this. Basically, just saying, it makes sense that for the party that brought us Reaganomics, after all, it's not like we don't have decades of evidence that corporate tax rates are not actually a driver of inflation. And Garrett Handigan said, also keeping the minimum wage at $7.25 an hour, although I'm sure they would prefer to make it even lower. And opinionated Kyle says, Cinema is also on board with all that, apparently. Now, what was interesting to me, too, is the second to last one here is White Trip to Lemus, who's tweeting from @Motukamoney, and he has put "Let's go Brandon" in all caps. And at first I thought it was ironic, but then I realized, nope, a liberal would have typed that in proper sentence case. This is all caps. That's a real right-winger. His name with his animal stag head avatar is White Trip to Lemus. Just say it. Just
Go, Braden.
Just so dumb. It was just horrible. Anyway, that's all I got. Sorry for my.
So for the listeners who don't understand the "Let's Go Brandon" reference, this is a QAnon fucking bullshit thing, and what it really means is fuck Biden. I'm not going to get into how they ended up with this slogan, but there's this
Which
John
is not
Hagee,
a controversial sentiment at all.
No,
not
Biden.
at all. They think
Fuck
that
him.
we give a shit about that. Fuck him. He's just
Fucking
all
hate
he
him.
is the nicest Republican. Anyway, there's this church, John Hagee's church, and he's like a big time, huge evangelical superstar, has been forever. And from the stage, they were leading the congregation
No.
a chant, "Let's go, Brandon."
That's
And
sacrilege.
I posted it on Twitter, and I said, "These two cults keep making out in the hallway. Ooh, gross." Because that's all it is. Just like finally coming full circle.
Yeah.
We're watching, like, they think we're watching the death of like, I don't know, wokeness. The liberals are afraid that we're watching the death of democracy. I think what we're actually watching is the death of Western Christianity. So Kyle Rittenhouse gave just a stunning performance of how to fake cry on the stand. Kyle Rittenhouse murdered a couple of people here in Minnesota, or actually was it Wisconsin? Anyway, during the George Floyd summer George Floyd was murdered, and there was uprisings all over the country. His mother drove him across state lines with a fucking semi-automatic rifle, and he shot and killed 2 people. And now he's really sad about it. And and it says this is just 4 panels of him like just giving a terrible performance of crying. And it says, "When mom buys regular chicky nuggies instead of dino chicky nuggies." And
I
the
gotta
next
say,
one is from.
wait, one of the most
Go ahead.
One of the most apt things I saw was it said, "Those tears of Kyle's are drier than Ben Shapiro's wife's pussy."
Nice. Yeah, that's nice. This is from friend of the show, Gritty is the Way. It says, Brett Kavanaugh was Kyle Rittenhouse's crying coach, and it shows Brett Kavanaugh fake crying in his Senate hearing, and Kyle Rittenhouse fake crying at his trial. And they both look exactly the same. I mean, Kyle looks like he could be his son.
Really?
Abba at Abba_Annabelle says, Kyle Rittenhouse is guilty of murder. He's also guilty of the worst fake cry face since Dawson. And a picture of Kyle and Dawson from Dawson's Creek. Yeah, she's right. It's pretty bad. Bitcoin Florida Gator says prosecutors charge Rittenhouse with not wearing enough flair. And on the left, there's a picture of the prosecutor, and on the right, there's a picture of the manager from what's the name of this movie? Office Space?
Office Space. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Seedling with a C is posted this meme, and it says, "Me trying to find my place in this world," and it shows rooms 300 to 316 to the right and 318 to 328 to the left, and they're holding a key for room 317, which is not a 317. Possum.vibes, which is a page that just puts quotes up on pictures of possums, has a picture of a possum, and it says, "If you can't handle me at my worst, imagine how I feel." Oh, I'm glad that he's made it onto the show. This is David F. Walker. He is, in my opinion, the greatest living comic book writer. He's incredible. He just wrapped up his series Bitter Root, which everyone should check out. He posts this picture of a fortune that he got from an actual fortune cookie, and it says, "You could make a name for yourself in the field of medicine." And he says, "At this point in my life, I fear this might mean I'm about to contract an incurable disease." Oh, this is really interesting. So John Fugelsang, friend of the show, he posts 2 maps here from Slate. And these are maps of the continental United States. Instead, in every state, instead of the name of the state, there is the most commonly spoken language other than English. And all across the country, it's primarily Spanish. It's French in Louisiana, German in North Dakota, French in Maine, but you get the idea. It's mostly Spanish. The second map, and this is really interesting, says most commonly spoken language other than English or Spanish. And when you look at it, boy, a lot of red states, their primary language is German. So Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, what is this? Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, Mississippi, Kansas. I mean, it just keeps going and going. Montana, Idaho, North Dakota, like we said.
Now
German.
Can I bring one thing up real quick? What's throwing me?
Yeah.
Is that in Pennsylvania, it's not Dutch or German, it's Italian. And I would have thought because of the Amish, that would be a higher rate.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, that's a really good point. But also, man,
You
fucking
also might
Italian.
not like censuses.
Well, just so you know, though, in terms of America's makeup, I mean, the number one ethnicity of last names in the United States is German. Most American last names are German. It's the lion's share. It's like almost.
I think John Fugelsang's point here was like, no wonder these assholes like Nazis. I think that's the point. But yeah, I do want to take a pause here for that point you just made, George. That it could be that the Amish just don't like censuses, which is fucking brilliant.
Fuck you! I'm not telling you what I say.
Here's another raccoon, and it says, "Me and my enemies have one thing in common: we both hate me." But the raccoon is really cute. This is from at Raccoon Village. Lord_birthday. I'm not going to go through all of these, but it says 9 conversational tricks to make people think you are cool and laid back. And this is instead of saying this, say this cool thing. And that's kind of the format here. Then on the left, it says, instead of saying no thanks, say noinks. Instead of saying I'm stuck indoors, say this cool thing, Mr. Chippy in a bread box. Instead of saying let's dance, instead say something cool like let's disrespect our bodies. And the last one I'll read, this is pretty funny, but instead of saying going a little crazy lately, instead say getting a little brain spanked, which I might actually use that one. Dumb bitch juice posted this. It says it's a picture of a Crayola marker, which they all have really weird names, and they put her eyes were the color of, and you see the color of this marker is called small potato.
Damn. That's a mean thing to name a marker. This marker is small potatoes. It's going nowhere.
This marker's marker career is fucking dog shit. Last one for this round. Glow fuck yourself, who finally makes an appearance. They just put this tweet up. They didn't say who it was, but it says, "I love when I can smell a guy's colon as he walks by."
Oh.
And they thought they were writing the word cologne.
Oh.
And then they put all these, like, 2 more tweets, and it just says, "After you hug a boy and you smell like his colon."
Oh, Jesus.
And another tweet says, "I smell like his colon now, heart." And then there's a picture of some cartoon character just going, "What?" Oh, man.
Farnsworth.
That's a fucking bad mistake to make.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm
George, you're up.
going to continue on. This is an earlier version of what you just said. 9 conversational tricks to make people think you're cool and laid back. Instead of saying okay, say oak nuggins. Instead of saying yes, say yank train. Instead of saying no, say nuns on ripple. Instead of I think so, say I put a boogie dollar down. Instead of do you play golf, say this cool thing. Do you slap the dimpled balls? Instead of I feel sick, say mama's got the nasty jam.
Oh, God.
Instead of this job is killing me, this gig gonna slash me hips. Instead of let's grab lunch on Monday, it's dip me in your Monday milk. Very
Get me
relaxed,
in your Monday milk.
cool and
That's
laid
so
back.
laid back and cool. Oh, wow.
All right. All right, I'm gonna throw down some tweets from Wint at Drill. One of the greatest Twitter accounts that I know of. It's just complete random. I love it. It's just,
I have seen this.
The worst part of nationalism is having to pretend the flag is really good. Like, yeah, the country looks exactly like that. They nailed it.
I gotta say, when I first saw the strip in Vegas with all the blinking and the flashing, I was like, oh, it does kind of look like the American flag. Like, in neon, you know.
Here's more flag humor from Drill. Another day volunteering at the Betsy Ross Museum. Everyone keeps asking me if they can fuck the flag. Buddy, they won't even let me fuck it. This is the last drill tweet I'll do. This is a classic. Food $200, data $150, rent $800, candles $3,600, utility $150. Someone who is good at the economy, please help me budget this. My family is dying.
God. It took me so long to realize you were making a reference with that family dying thing. I was worried about you.
I didn't know. I didn't realize that was a reference to that. I feel really bad now, but it's a great appeal online. Just please like and subscribe. My family is dying. I think it's a good catchphrase.
Dude, I added
My family.
you. I added you to my church's prayer.
That's why you should like and subscribe. Because my family is dying. This is this is another. What kind of gamer are you? And it's Jared Leto Joker. And it says New School, Fortnite, PUBG, Clash of Clans, Far Cry 5, Overwatch, Old School, Modern Warfare 2, League of Legends, Angry Birds, Black Ops 2, BioShock Infinite, and then Ancient Gamer, Halo 3, Gears of War, Call of Duty 4, Fallout 3, Portal. Whether young or old, brand new or classic, we are all gamers. We snipe our enemies, complete our quests, and most of all, we get shit done. Guess what I'm trying to say is, don't mess with us.
That's awesome.
I can't tell if it was made in earnest or not. It's just so funny. I can't believe that it would be, because Ancient Gamer had like Fallout 3. They went back like 2 years for each of them. Yeah. Here's another D&D one. It's Kobold says, "Your Majesty, I got you a present." Hands Dragon a teddy bear. And Dragon says, "Thank you. I'll put it on this nice shelf over here so I don't burn it by accident." And Kobold says, "Wait, I didn't tell you the best part." And Dragon says, "What?" Kobold, "It's made of magical fire-resistant cloth." Dragon, "Really? You did that for me?" And that night, the dragon curled around his teddy bear, picking his teeth with a kobold femur, surrounded by happy smoke. So that's, yeah. The dragon will still kill you. It's not... It's not your friend. All right. I'm just gonna end on this. I don't know who this was. This is completely edited out when I got to it. It says, "Doom is movie by David Lunch. It is the story of young Paul Adidas, who works in the House of Trading. I think he's into Quick Cat Hatter Mat stocks or something. Anyway, he does the robot with Captain Picard, puts his hand in a box. It's a hand in a box. And then he has to go find a Spice Girl. I really like this movie, though I could have done without the desert scenes. I kind of tuned everything out at that point. I don't really remember how it ends, but I think they all do the worm, which makes sense for an 80s movie. I give it 4 squirt out of 5. Bye." I think I'm gonna end there. I don't really have to tell, so I kind of got to get going. But this has been awesome. Hope y'all have a good rest of the show.
All right.
Hey, love you, George.
Yeah, love you too. Peace.
All right, back into it. Since you opened so strong with all the Kyle stuff, I shared this one on our page. Mariah Alexander says, "Find you someone who loves you as completely and unconditionally as Judge Schroeder loves Kyle Rittenhouse."
That's fucking good.
Yeah.
He fucking does love Kyle.
I heard some of the stuff today and whatever. And mostly it's because of this, where you have a picture of him faking tears on the one side, and on the other side, it's hard to take the tears of Kyle Rittenhouse seriously, seeing how just a few months ago he was partying in a bar with the Proud Boys, flashing their secret white power symbol while wearing a t-shirt that said "free as fuck." And, yeah, I can't take any of this stuff seriously. And slightly longer one here. Anthony Walker, Lord of Sarcasm, who tweets at Anthony C. Walker, says, reposts Kenneth Ray McCain. "Combat veteran here, just a perspective. If you arrived are armed to a place where violence is happening, prepared for violence, and you engage in violence, there is no self-defense. You are, in fact, a willing combatant. If you do this without being sanctioned by a government outside of a combat zone, you are also, in fact, a terrorist. We have another word for armed civilians operating outside the military as well: insurgent. if your recourse to the terrorist is to look up the criminal history of the victims, it is no different than looking up the criminal past of everyone that died on 9/11 in order to justify the hijackers. This kid was illegal all the way around. This shit is ridiculous. And that was posted in the Tennessee Holler. And
Can confirm.
yeah, it's just like, ugh. All right, let's talk about America. When I was your age, I had to walk 10 feet through shag carpeting to change a TV channel.
And it always shocked you when you got there. That like to killed Ruben. You okay, Ruben?
This one goes out to our Bay Area friends. My man David Johnson posts from Lydia XZ Brown Esquire, who says, when I come across people who describe San Francisco as a leftist communist nightmare, I just laugh. San Francisco is a right-wing, technocratic, dystopian nightmare with a veneer of superficial progressivism not so thinly veiling far-right, ultra-capitalist social Darwinism.
Yep.
And,
Yes.
this was reposted by Milwaukee DSA, and Drew, I reposted on my page, and of course Drew is like, can confirm, yes.
Right.
And Drew, worked for ultra-capitalist social Darwinists.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought that one's for you guys. Okay. Hey, here's a picture of Lenin meeting with Big Bird. It says Big Bird meeting communist leader Lenin, circa 1922.
The truth comes out.
I thought it was fantastic, man. This one got shared quite a bit. Oh man, I wish it had come out like seconds after Ted Cruz had done his dumb rant, because, oh my God, yeah. The bird's a commie. Hey, both my friends Stacey Faye and John Doffing shared this post from Dana Schwartz. It says, I feel like this holiday season it's important to remind people of the true meaning of Christmas. Ghosts terrorizing rich people in the middle of the night until they agree to pay their employees more.
Yep.
The reason...
Watch it every year.
The reason for the season.
Goddamn right.
This is great. My friend Jeannie liked this one by Shauna B. It says, one of my favorite very specific image genres is cats that look completely unprepared for the realities of parenthood. And it's just a cat with like 6 kittens, but one of them's like on her head and it's sort of pulling her eyes back and she's got the dun 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 kind of a look to her. Just completely unprepared for the realities of adulthood. And I was like, yep, I can see it when you're wearing a kitten as a hat. Joe Rogan made the news this week because super flexible Joe Rogan says he can perform fellatio on himself.
What?
Yay. And Stephen Colbert said, it's called doing your own research.
Oh, shit.
Nice.
That was tight.
Yeah, that's good work.
This was interesting. I don't even know if I'm following this Moneyless Society. I must be following them because Moneyless Society, I get stuff from them all the time. Very worthwhile. And they have reposted, I don't know what to say here, at @IKev_SL, whatever. But he says, just found out that Germany is doing commercials to help feed America. And there's a picture of an American woman with an American child saying, in the closed caption, he says, they are hungry for more than a meal. They are hungry for change. But did you guys know they were running commercials to feed American children in Germany? I didn't know that. It's kind of, whoo! Yeah.
I'm glad. I fucking hope people start to know what's going on here, man. Shit.
Oh, I have no doubt that the Germans know more what's going on here than Americans know what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no shit.
My Costa Rican friends looked at me with pity. They were just like, "Oh, most of you aren't very literate, are you?" It's crazy. Okay, moving on. Patton Oswalt had a series that I absolutely loved here. He reposted Qasim Rashid Esquire, which again, if you're not following, friend of the show, Qasim Rashid Esquire, you're missing out. He's just counterposing the what happens every time the New York Times covers an unarmed black teen being murdered by a cop. And it says, New York Times, well, he was no angel. And you see the headlines, Michael Brown, blah, 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 grappling with problems, blah, blah, blah. So Patton Oswalt posts, Charles Manson, who loved dune buggies and idolized the Beatles, arrived in Los Angeles with dreams of recording success. A thwarted record deal and an address mix-up led him to expressing his grievances in a way many have issues with. Charles Manson.
Yeah.
Which led to a whole series which are just brilliant. Bob Pine replies to it. Jeffrey Dahmer arrived in Milwaukee with something of a peculiar palate. After exploring the outer boundaries of an alternative diet, a few young men experienced life cessation events.
Life cessation.
Next up, I really like this one. Lee Harvey Oswald, who loved traveling to faraway countries, arrived in Dallas with dreams of meeting the president. A climb to the 6th floor of a downtown building ended in that president's untimely death. Just, it's like, you start thinking to yourself, I could write for the New York Times.
Right.
This one is from a comedian friend of the show, David Cross, who says, shh, don't give away the ending, because he has reposted from Chad Loader. In Kansas, anti-vaxxers are showing up to municipal meetings wearing yellow stars, portraying themselves as having equal footing with Jewish victims of the Holocaust. Ooh. And we see people in court with enormous, childish, yellow construction paper stars pinned to their hoodies in court.
Jesus. Without
masks. And the replies on Twitter were really fun here. This gentleman said, this star would make more sense. And he has this smiling star from Carl's Jr.
Yeah, that's good.
Props to Frank Herbie, that love bug. And Jerry Mander posts, shh, I've got this. Quote from Darwin. My favorite of all these was this one, which was a picture of a needle who's characterized. He's got a big smile on his face and his hands in the air, and he says, fuck it, die then. I gotta say, man, I'm responding to a lot more comments with things just like this. People are like, but what's the solution to this hard problem? I'm like, well, people could just die mad about it. Just spitballing here. But how should
it's always an option.
How should we reach out to the bipartisanship of, they could just die mad about it. Just spitballing here. Just saying. Okay, and my last one for closing out round 2. This is Abby Evans XO, who posts, Satan, welcome to hell. I want all of us to be friends here. Me, this doesn't seem so bad. Satan, so everyone go around in a circle and say a little bit about yourself. I felt seen in that one.
Welcome to hell.
Back to you, sir.
All right. I'm booting you.
Yeah? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I not boot myself? Joe Rogan says he can boot himself.
So Dana White, at Dana White, says, whenever a magician tells me to pick a card, any card, I pull out my wallet and pick this one. And it's just a picture of a person holding a card with a hat and a no sign through the hat. And it says, I do not give you my consent to perform magic on me. What I thought made me laugh so hard about this is that, like, the person holding this card does believe that the magician is performing magic.
Oh, God.
This is from Corticorn, who says, repost if you have one of these. No one will ever know what you have. And as you read down, it says OCD, ADHD, asthma, anxiety, dyslexia, depression, parent issues, anger problems, sleeping issues, elephant in pocket. It could be any of them. Corticorn also says, people are quick to tell you McDonald's is unhealthy. What about that relationship you're in, stupid ass bitch? Brent Terhune, who fucking kills me. His stand-up is so funny. He always ends this he always does this redneck thing. He is clearly a redneck from Indiana, from Indiana. And at the end of those little fake rants that he does, he always goes, "Fuck the NFL and go Colts." It's like perfectly captures the like redneck attitude. He tweeted the other day, "Paul Rudd, I get older, he stays the same age." Which was pretty good. Glow Fuck Yourself post this, like, I don't know what's going on here. It looks like a conversation with someone named Lil Orphan Zanny, and they say, "If you were my girlfriend, I'd buy you mustard." And she says, "I'm allergic to mustard." And he says, "Well, I wasn't going to buy you anyway. I wasn't actually going to buy you any. Sometimes I'd be lying." Which, that's mad game. Glow Fuck Yourself is going to be a big player in this round. They have a picture of Spencer's gifts from the mall, and it says, "If you ever looked around the back section of Spencer's growing up, you probably eat ass now." Spot on. Christopher Lyon at CD Farrar says, "What does it mean when this light comes on?" And it's just a picture of a car's engine on fire. Like, yeah, listen, if you grow up like I grew up, you know what that means. This is a picture of a dog with its head on a pillow and a blanket over its body, just like tucked into bed. And it says, "How I sleep at night knowing nothing." This is Dumb Bitch Juice. It's a picture of a skeleton running. And it says, and I don't even know if this is funny. This is just what I live by. It says, "Just walk out. You can leave. Work, social thing, movies, home, class, dentist, clothes shopping, too fancy weed store, cops if you're quick, friendship. If it sucks, hit the bricks. Real winners quit." And then it says, "Dumb Bitch Juice. Took a test. Turns out no one fucking owns me." This reminds me, quick aside here, it reminds me of this bar opened up next to the Pig in Champaign out years ago. I don't even know if it's still there. And it was like, and Shayberg was going there. And Shayberg always had like a ton of friends, man. And he's like, "Hey, Michael, I'm going to this bar if you want to come by after, you're done or whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll head over there after a bit." So I walk into this bar, and it's so packed, and it's like such a hipster place, like all these tall tables, and the tables are like spattered around, and it's like too cool. I don't know. I see Shayberg. I walk up to him, but there's no seats at his table, so I just have to like stand there awkwardly, or I'm going to have to pull a new chair up or something. I don't know. Right. And I just lean over to Shayberg, and I go, "Yo, I'm taking off." And he goes, "Oh yeah, I knew you would leave." It was like just perfect. This guy really is my friend. At MJ McKean says, "Keep your Glenn close and your Glenemies closer." I retweeted this. I said, "How has this joke been sitting there undetected for all these years? Keep your Glenn close and your Glenemies closer." And then here's two pictures of Glenn Close. The left one, she's smoking a cigar. The right one, she's not. On the left one with the cigar, it just says Glenn Close. And the next picture with no cigar, it says Glenn Close but no cigar. It's so stupid, but I love it. My last meme for this round, I just have my post with the most left after this. It's from Andrew Hicks, friend of the show. It says at Hicks Industries. And it says, "Doctors made a 3D print of an ultrasound for an expecting mother who is blind." And it's 4 pictures of her. And she's crying, and she's feeling the like 3D print of her baby's face, and you can't see it in the first 2 panels, but you could just see how sweetly she's adoring this. And then she turns it toward the camera so we can see, and it's a picture of Han Solo who's frozen. And the last picture is just her tracing Han Solo's frozen face. It's so random and weird.
Oh, it's awesome. I love it. All right, and back around to me. Okay, gonna hit it hard here as fast as I can. See what we can do here to bring it home. Okay, so this is a tweet from Matt Gaetz, who has the best hair in Congress, and he says, "I can't believe Republicans just gave the Democrats their socialism bill." And Tristan Snell replies on Twitter, "I can't believe the U.S. Attorney's Office has given you this much time before you get indicted and convicted."
No shit.
I think we're all sitting in disbelief at this point. Like, what are you doing? This one, I've been following David Cross on Twitter, and this was a great one. Elon Musk and Bernie Sanders have been in a little Twitter war because Bernie wants to tax the rich, and Elon's really all bent out of shape about it. So people have been posting, and GL De Vittorio was retweeted by David Cross with a picture of Elon Musk and Ghislaine. What's her name again? The one that was Epstein.
Maxwell. Yeah.
Maxwell. Yeah. Picture the two of them together. And it is even funnier when you read Elon's, tweet at Sanders where he says, "I keep forgetting that you're still alive." And it's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting you're still alive, Ghislaine." In prison somewhere. Yeah. Can't wait till the testimony unwinds on that one. That should be fun. Anyway, also David Cross posted this, which was just terrifying, and this is mostly for Michael. David Cross has posted, "Okay, here we go, folks. On the right, defend this one. 100% anti-American statement. Go ahead and do it." Because friend of the show, Ron Filipowski, is reposted Michael Flynn tonight on the Reawaken American Network, or whatever this is. But Michael Flynn is saying, if we are going to have one nation under God, which we must have to have one religion. One nation under God and one religion under God. I didn't see any hashtags here, but that is Christian nationalism. Yes, that's right. That's exactly what it is. Hashtag Christian nationalism. So
I have a lot to say. You triggered me. Congratulations.
Hey!
So yeah, this is.
I am 5 for 5 in weeks of triggering Michael.
I wrote my thesis on this, and it's civil religion.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fucking definitely heresy, 100%. I retweeted this and I said, if Christianity is compulsory, then it is impossible for anyone to be Christian.
Yeah.
Like this is the sort of theocracy that these dominionist fucking right-wing evangelicals really do want. And white evangelicalism is absolutely dangerous, and it should be treated as such. Like it just shouldn't. We shouldn't see this as some sort of peaceful religion. It's a really fucking dangerous cult.
No. And my very favorite thing that came around was the America is a Christian nation. And it's like, oh, really now? I wonder what the founding fathers had to say about this. And it's a picture of Thomas Jefferson saying, Christianity neither is nor ever was a part of the common law. James Madison, religion and government will both exist in greater purity the less they are mixed together. Hear, hear, snap, snap. And John Adams, the government of the United States is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion. And I can hear it right now. If I were to post this, my right-wing friends would go, "Man, those guys are finos. Founding fathers in name only."
Right. And none of these people were Christian.
No.
Like, that's another really important thing. And evangelicalism didn't fucking exist back then. So, like, I mean, the way they talk about how they love the founding fathers, they're just deluding themselves.
Now, by the way, too, all us liberals, we're just talking to ourselves with this crap. I mean, this is like listening to really good dialogue in the West Wing.
They don't care. Yeah, you're right. They don't care.
Because I got tweeted an article from the Epic Times about how Karl Marx was actually a Christian.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm like, I was just like, I'm never going to click on anything in the Epic Times, and you wouldn't give two shits what Marx had to say about any other topic in the world. So,
dude, okay. And just last thing, and then we have to move on. It's late. But the Epoch Times is actually Russian propaganda. It's a fucking
Chinese propaganda.
Russian. Oh, is it Chinese? Yeah, it's like an actual fucking like machine. Like I read about it last year, and it's Epoch, EPOCH. You should avoid it. It's disgusting.
Now, are they the ones that are Falun Gong? They're like the Falun Gong, or is that Japanese? Oh, I
don't know.
I feel like there's an anti-Chinese communist government, religious group, and yeah, they love right-wingers and they love guns, and they worship statues of Reagan. They're very odd. And then they put out this National Enquirer type paper, and then my right-wingers send it to me. Check this out. I'm like, oh God. so I got these little clips here, but it won't do any good. But you're right. So anyway, moving on. The Credible Hulk with that cool balloon lettering on the wall behind you, and man standing there, and it says, "It's easy to have everything be a conspiracy, or to make everything a conspiracy when you don't know how anything works." Brandon. It's like, yeah, it is. It's easy to come up with very simple stories. Then, on the other side, are a lot of our fans who are overeducated and hypercritical, and you post a joke, like this one, 4-panel from Enzo Comics, and we have a man crawling across the desert, and he's saying, "Help! Help! I've been bitten by a poisonous snake." And down comes a superhero, and he says, "Actually, poisonous means it's deadly to eat or touch. Venomous means it has a deadly bite or sting." And the man says, "Thank you, technically correct man. I'm here to help." And he exits off stage right. And we see the skeleton in the exact same position. Oh my God. I can't tell you. I have people that hang on every syllable. Sometimes I like to play the game of, hey, if I had changed this one word, would you have not been triggered into this 180 comment thread on my Facebook page? Well, yes, actually, I would have, because technically. Existential Comics, friend of the show. If you're not following them, you're definitely missing out. At Existential Com says, "I think everyone should learn at least a little bit of computer programming so they can learn to hate computers at a deeper level."
Yeah, that's good.
Absolutely. Hey, one of my favorite genres are just headlines that are hilarious. So this one's good. Futurism posted this one: U.S. military horrified by Chinese military spending money on exact same crap they do. and that's great. And I only had to look as far as the first comment. It's like, oh, autonomous weapons. Yeah, not into killer robots, but I can sure see how the American military would be pretty mad, because anything we can make, the Chinese can make 100 of them for $1. Like, oh, stinking Chinese with their cheap robots. Anyway, one of the ones that got some of the most traffic on my page, but not my post with the most, was Gene Simmons blasting COVID-19 deniers and unvaccinated Americans, calling them the enemy. Gene Simmons says, "I don't care about your political beliefs. You are not allowed to infect anybody just because you think you've got rights that are delusional." Loved it. I mean, man.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
You're getting ripped by Kiss. Hey, we used to talk about doing a whole show of George memes, because he like produces hundreds every week, and then he comes on and he shares about 10. So we were talking about that. So I intentionally steal George's memes all week long, because I know he won't use them all. This one's pretty good. I liked it. This is from the New York Times opinion page, and the headline reads, "Why has there been a spike in anti-Asian hate?" followed by 16 magazine covers, all with threatening imagery of China, from The Economist, The New York Times, from Forbes, from Foreign Policy, with titles such as, "Can American Values Survive in a Chinese World?" And it really is. If you're looking at the images, it's just very scary stuff, and just makes the New York Times, "Why has there been a spike of anti-Asian hate?" pearl-clutching headlines. All the more hilarious. So, I like that one. And also this one, Tom Hartman. "Why do Republicans believe that giving free money to poor people, welfare, makes them lazy and destroys society and their mental health, but giving free money to the children of billionaires is such a good thing that it shouldn't even be taxed?"
No shit.
For those of you who like podcasts, it's one of the most erudite online, very entertaining, and I think the most popular liberal podcast in the United States. Hartman Report, with breaking now, the tragic plight of the children of wealthy people exposed.
Nice.
That is my bedtime lullabies when I need some sleep. Either Tom Hartman or Ralph Nader. I find them very, very pleasant and easy to sleep on. George also shared this one. I loved it. The Decider.com reports Alec Baldwin says Hollywood sets should hire police officers to manage gun safety.
Jesus Christ.
And I mean, Stephen Allen posted this in Lord Pete Buttigieg's casual imperialist wine cave, because law enforcement officers have such a great record on proper firearm handling and use. And friend of the show, Karthik Kakarala, says, "Read the room, Baldwin."
Yeah. That's brilliant.
And I'm going to end with this one because Ruben and I both liked it. I thought it was genius, man. This is 1980. I bet we'll have flying cars in the future. 2021. McRib Locator.
Oh.
Yep, that's what we got. And it's a map with little pins showing you all the places you can get a McRib because we've just made so much progress. And all right, coming back with my post with the most after you, Mr. Michael.
Yeah, my post with the most this week was actually a big one, man. I posted this. These aren't my numbers, but I still off the charts for me. This is from at Jamie Slur. As I took it from Twitter and put it on Facebook and Instagram. And I said, let me know when we're ready to have this conversation. She says, I bet Kyle's mom would be in jail if she transported her daughter across state lines from Texas for an abortion. And this is a really important point. Like, this woman took her son across state lines knowing he had an assault rifle, knowing he was going over to kill people, grown people.
Yeah.
And she's not going to jail. And the point here is just how insidious this quote unquote pro-life, which is actually about punishing people who get abortions.
Yeah.
So just how insidious it is, because she's absolutely right. If Kyle's mom took her daughter from Texas to, Missouri to get an abortion, she would go to jail. And it's because they don't actually give a fuck about life.
No.
They just give a fuck about controlling women's bodies, especially women of color. And I thought this was that was it. I thought it was a really important point. I did not enjoy the private messages I got as a result of this.
Oh,
but
I bet you didn't.
But I do think I had some pretty necessary conversations, because it was one of those, I'm way more open in private messenger than I am out in front. I think everybody's a lot more congenial. We're a lot more like able to talk and reason with each other. And I was just like, look, I'm sorry that you have big feelings about this, but I'm more sorry that this is true. Yeah. And so, they were hard conversations, like not how I wanted to spend my Saturday, but still, I think some good stuff was done.
Good deal. I forgot to do one, and I'm going to do just one before my post with the most, because I got to share it. But posted this one on our Facebook page, and this is posted from Against Late Capitalism, and they are interviewing senior citizens, and it's headlined, Senior Citizens Guess 2021 House Prices. And you see a microphone held up to a lady, and she's saying $35,000.
Oh, my God. That's funny.
This was reposted by the Center for American Progressives, correcting the record with guillotines, which is a must follow, in my opinion. We reached about 42 people with that. So that actually could be my post with the most, kind of hard to tell number-wise. But my literal post with the most, which I think had about 50 likes, a lot of comments, a lot of shares. It will never not be hilarious that over 300 insurrectionists have been turned in by their ex-wives.
Yeah, we do love that. Doing God's work there.
And I believe that is it. That is an episode of Facebook for the Blind for Monday, November 15th, 2021. Thank you all.
Love you, George. All right, great show, everybody. I got to go.
You bouncing? Hey,
yeah,
dude.
I'm bouncing. That was really fun, though.
Look at that, man. Dude, we started at 7:35 and we're ending, is that right? No.
Yeah, we went over an hour. It was a long show.
God.
Yeah, look at that. We went way longer than we meant to.